Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my girlfriend, Carol. How you doing, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It is November 24th, 1995.
Can you believe it's going to be 96 soon?
1996. In the blink of an eye.
It did go quick.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's the older we get, the faster time goes. Just imagine when we're in our 30s.
Right? It'll be insane. In the membrane.
Insane in the membrane. So, speaking of, whoa, someone just dropped an anvil on the roof.
Right?
Speaking of things that are insane, the government shutdown's over.
Woo, woo.
Yeah, they've got 4 weeks of a working budget now.
A whole 4 weeks till
Yeah.
the chaos restarts.
Yes.
Awesome.
They made a compromise, and this compromise is going to last for 4 weeks. So they have 4 weeks of a budget. And then, so 80,000 government workers are ready to return to work. There's been money allocated to operate the government until December 15th. So we'll see what happens after December 15th. A plan to balance the budget by 2002 will be honed by the Clinton administration and Congress by December 15th. The plan won't cut Medicare or Medicaid, education, or other certain programs. So we will see. We'll see what happens as far as that goes. Like I said, we don't talk about politics much, but I thought that the government shutdown was, important enough to kind of mention.
For sure. I'm so relieved.
Yeah. Well, because, your family makes so much money from the government.
What? You weirdo.
Why are you so relieved?
Because I care about, my fellow humans and, their ability to, eat and stuff.
What an altruistic person you are.
Yeah, damn right.
Most people don't give a fuck. So, the first of 3 albums is a magical history tour. What a great joke by Brian McCollum.
Okay.
It's the Beatles anthology.
Ooh.
Number 1. Free as a Bird. First song in 25 years to feature John Lennon and Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo. It's the first song on this album. It's a previously unreleased song, Free as a Bird. This Beatles anthology thing, coinciding, of course, with the 20th anniversary, I think, or 25th anniversary, or whatever. I don't know, some anniversary. No, the 30th anniversary. That's
okay.
Right. Of the Beatles in America. They've got the anthology show that's coming out and everything. But this is a huge deal, and this album is really selling quickly. Apparently, it's supposed to be very good. A lot of Beatles classics on there. It's a greatest hits album, but it's also interspersed with interviews from different Beatles members, producers, Brian Epstein, people like that. Just kind of talking about the history of the band and where they came from.
That sounds kind of cool. I wouldn't mind learning a little bit more.
Yeah, it's sort of like it reminds me of Moby Dick.
Okay.
Like Moby Dick is for those of you that haven't read Moby Dick is a chapter of the story, and then the next chapter is the history of whaling. And then there's a chapter of story, and then there's a chapter of how to make candles or whatever out of whale lard.
What in the actual hell?
Yeah, that's how Moby Dick is. Moby Dick's a chapter of story, and then a chapter of here's how to build a dinghy.
I mean, I love to read, but I would never ever try to read Moby Dick, not just because of the sheer size, but now it sounds like it's really freaking boring too.
Yeah. So that's kind of what this reminds me of, but not in a boring way, because it's a song. So like one track's a song, like Free as a Bird, right? Mm-hmm. And then track 2 is a 5-minute interview or 4-minute interview
Okay.
John Lennon.
That sounds cool.
About something. And then the next track is a song. And then the track after that is Brian Epstein talking about, well, when I first met, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, like this is what they were doing, and kind of thing like that. So it does seem really interesting to me. I've just went on sale a few days ago, and I've just barely cracked into it. I bought the double CD.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what's your favorite Beatles song?
Ooh, that's a very difficult question because there's so many classics. I tend, and probably a lot of Beatles fans will call me a pretender or or an idiot or whatever, just not a cultured Beatles fan. But I tend to gravitate a little bit more towards the middle or the beginning years,
okay,
and the middle years than I do the later years. Like by the time we get to like Octopus Garden and Sgt. Pepper's and stuff like that, I don't dislike those songs or anything at all. They're just not my favorites.
Right.
Like Come Together, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one, like Come Together, and everyone loves that song, and it's but I would probably say In My Life, I think.
Okay.
Is my favorite, and that's quite early on.
That's a good one.
Of their songs. What do you think?
I think Yesterday.
That's a good song too.
Because it gets me, in the emotions, and that's what I like.
In the emotions.
In the emotions.
It stabs you deep in the emotions. Do I ever get into your emotions?
Not as often as you get into my pants.
All right. Well, speaking of getting into your pants, whose pants did the producers of Partners get into to continue their show? If you haven't heard, Partners is a Friends clone TV show.
I had not heard, and how dare they?
Well, a couple writers from Friends, Jeff Greenstein and Jeff Strauss, they're producing the show. And it's very Friends-like, because I guess it has their comic mentality or whatever, right?
Mm.
So they've been greenlit, and they're going 9 p.m. on Mondays on Fox.
Okay.
So they've got, I think let's see, if they're on Mondays, yeah, I think, they're up against Beverly Hills 90210, I think.
Oh, wow.
Or no, Melrose Place. No, wait. Those shows are on Fox.
Okay.
What are they up against?
I don't know.
Mondays. What's on Mondays on like NBC and stuff? I don't know.
I don't pay attention to that
I
shit.
don't think they're going to do well. That's my point is I don't think they're going to do well. So very few things do well on Fox.
Well, that's true.
Except for Friends and Melrose Place and The
90210.
Simpsons and 90210. Or no, I said Friends. I meant 90210.
What?
Ah!
I was thinking Friends was on NBC, but
That's my brain melting down right now. Okay, I'm going to start over. The shows that do well on Fox are 90210, Melrose Place, The Simpsons, and Married with Children.
okay.
And I heard that this new one, Party of Five, is pretty good.
Huh, maybe we should check it out.
But anyway, so other than that, things don't seem to do. I mean, they had Herman's Head, and they lost that. They got that show canceled.
Right.
The most brilliant show ever.
So this week, we talked about Friends.
Did we? We talked about it already?
This week we watched Friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
we watched an episode of the NBC sitcom Friends.
it's
The Partners clone Friends.
the one with the list.
Mm-hmm.
So in this episode, we start out with the girls. What?
It just you sound like the voiceover from Soap.
What?
In last episode, Mary told Bert she doesn't believe in aliens. Bert says, Danny's got a new bride.
Alrighty.
No, you never watched Soap, so he'd go through the whole like thing, and then he'd go, confused? You won't be after this episode of Soap. And then,
So, okay, so last episode of Friends, Ross kissed Rachel.
Yeah.
Which is, not...
Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
What?
I'm gonna kick you.
I wish you would.
Okay.
That's what this has been building up to. I want you to abuse me.
Oh, okay. He has a girlfriend, Julie, the paleontologist.
Julie Newmar.
Yeah. So, him kissing Rachel, not necessarily the best thing.
No, he's a fucking dog.
Kind of cheating.
Everyone's so happy because they want this will they, won't they to happen. They want this relationship to happen, this Ross and Rachel thing to happen. But it's like, he's a dick.
Yeah.
And selfish.
Yeah.
He cheated on Julie. Julie's never been anything but nice to him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Julie in this episode. But Rachel is talking to Phoebe and Monica about the kiss. Mm-hmm. And it's...
Give us the details.
Kind of fucked up. It didn't really occur to me right away until I thought more about it. Mm-hmm. But Monica's way too interested to hear about her brothers kissing Rachel.
Yeah, it's a sister.
And when Rachel's describing the kiss, she literally closes her eyes and goes, "Oh."
Yeah, she's she's
what the fuck?
She's getting turned on thinking about her brother kissing Rachel.
So gross. Lady, go get laid.
My brother and my best friend. Oh my god.
Ugh. Yeah, not good. They need to work on boundaries and stuff.
Speaking of working on boundaries, I should absolutely not tell this story, but I'm going to.
Uh-oh.
There's a person in my family, I'm not going to name them, who made a sex tape with one of their significant others. Okay?
Oh, jeez.
And apparently they mistook what tape they had, because there was a big party, and hey, why don't you watch this tape of us, on a hot air balloon?
Oh, no.
And they put the wrong tape in, or they taped over the hot air balloon thing. I don't know exactly how it happened. But they popped the tape in the VCR, and it's them having sex. And this person's mom was there.
No.
I think the other person's mom was there, too. Aunts, uncles, cousins.
That's
kids.
terrible.
Many family members saw this.
God, I hope that they were able to turn it off quickly. That's terrible.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't think there is such a thing as turning it off quickly enough in that situation, but ugh. So Ross tells the guys, and literally this is their conversation. I kissed her. Tongue? Yeah. That's it. What in the F?
Well, that's what happens. So the show opens.
Oh.
And they're, she's describing this in great detail. Where were his hands? What would they do? They started out of my waist. They moved up to my hair, and everything. And all
which is what makes Monica then go, oh.
Right. All this stuff, all this incredible detail about how she was feeling, what the smells were like, and everything. And like you said, Ross is kissed Rachel. And Joey goes, tongue? And he goes, yeah, cool. And then he goes,
yeah.
It's, it's, one of those heartbreak, people are laughing, put your credits on now.
So, then we're in the coffee shop, and he's talking about he doesn't know what to do about, Julie and Rachel, and then Rachel comes in.
Right. And then Julie comes in.
Yeah. And he's all staring at Rachel, and she's all, hey, you. And then Julie comes in, he's like, Julie? Like he fucking forgot she existed for a second.
Julie looks at Rachel and says, 365th day in a row that you're not wearing a bra. Thanks, Rachel.
Right?
She never wears a bra, and it's always cold in that studio.
And then, to get, I don't know, the tension to be broken or whatever, not that I think there was any tension that Julie was aware of anyway, Ross is like, hey, play something, Phoebe. Mm-hmm. And she makes up a song.
Is she making up this song on the spot?
Yes. That's what she does. She's like, so I'm going to make up a song about three people, and two of them. It's called Two of Them Kissed Last Night.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And she's like, he must decide. He must decide. And Ross looks like he's gonna puke.
Pretty good song.
Yeah, I mean,
for right on the spot.
Right, she did all right.
I'll give it to her.
Except she named Julie's character Luli. That could use some work.
Plausible.
But Rachel was Betty, so sure. So then Ross is talking to the guys up in the apartment about what to do, and Chandler's all excited because he got a new printer.
No, a new computer.
With a printer.
I guess, but the printer doesn't... The printer's not the important part. The important part's the computer.
Okay.
Because he can, like, I don't know, stream something like... I can send data at, like, 81 BPS or something like that, which I believe stands for bytes per second.
Okay, sure.
So I don't know a whole ton about computers, so I don't know exactly all the stuff he was talking about.
Me either.
But I think it has to do with the internet. But it's supposed to be fast, I guess.
But he was very excited about some word processing thing where he was able to, he's like, we're going to make a list with Rachel and Julie's pros and cons, and I can do different columns with different fonts and colors.
Yeah, well, he is one of those vague, like, I vaguely work in technology jobs.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to say exactly what he does. He sits in front of a computer.
Right.
That's what he does. Like, that's as far as they're interested in explaining it.
So, Ross is only able to come up, like, he comes up with some, cons for Rachel. And he comes up with...
Fat ankles.
No, he does not. Joey comes up with that. But Chandler still puts it down like a dick.
She's just a waitress.
Yeah, that's not good. And he says she's too into her looks, she's little vain, spoiled.
She's snobbish.
Ditzy.
Yeah.
It was not good. But then when you get to Julie, the only con he came up with was she's not Rachel.
Right.
Which, like you said, then you have your answer right there.
He doesn't even need to make a list.
Yeah.
You might as well said, why don't you delete all this and the evidence, and then the show can go on.
Wouldn't that have been nice? That'd be a whole other show. But instead, he decides to go break up with Julie like a good boy.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I guess, post facto, but sure.
Well, I mean, better than stringing them both along or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's back at the apartment. Rachel comes in. He tells her they're going to go for a walk. It's all happy. And she sees
joy.
her name on Chandler's computer. Mm-hmm. Who, by the way, Chandler was trying to print. Why he was trying to print this fucking list in the first goddamn place, right. I don't know. Yeah. But he said he'd hit print like 100 times, and it wasn't working, and he's on the phone with tech support. So she comes in, she sees it, he closes the computer, and she's like, you need to tell me what you wrote about me.
I saw my name on there. And
yeah.
I said that it should have been like a list of gifts.
Which would have worked.
Yeah.
That would have been brilliant.
She said, yeah, I'm good at thinking of lies on the spot. Aren't you glad you're with me? But I said, like, yeah, it could have been like, you know, I have everyone's name down there and gift ideas for them.
Chandler came up with a thing the next day, too.
His diary.
Oh, yeah. He's like, she never would have made me read her my diary. But it ends up printing. Mm-hmm. So she gets a hold of the list.
He says it's a short story.
Yeah, first they made him make up a short story.
Yeah.
Why don't you read it to her? But she doesn't believe that, which I really don't know why.
Well, she's not as ditzy as they think, apparently.
Right? So
she's not just a waitress, she's also a detective.
But yeah, she reads it and she's, understandably pissed and hurt. Mm-hmm. And basically tells Ross to go fuck himself. So, yeah.
Yeah, she says, you're not going to fuck me, go fuck yourself.
And he tries to apologize, he tries to explain. I think she's being a little unreasonable.
I do too, because, he's like, apparently Chandler misspelled Rachel to Racham.
What's that? Just some paleontologist thing that I wouldn't understand because I'm just a waitress? Like,
that's also ditzy, though, then.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you don't understand that that's your name, just misspelled. Like, if somebody said, not March, I'd be like, what is that supposed to mean? I'm not festive like St. Patrick's Day,
right,
which is in March. Like, you'd have to be an idiot to not be like, oh, That's probably supposed to say Mark, isn't it?
So he even tries to get the radio to play a song
Get
for
the
her.
radio.
He gets Monica to put it on. Mm-hmm. And what is it? With or Without You?
I can't live. No, it's see the stones in your eyes. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's With or Without You. So, it starts to play, and she gets this look on her face, like they're totally fucking with the audience, because it looks like...
She looks like she's contemplating things.
And she's going to call him.
Should I pick up the phone?
But she calls the radio station, and they cut in and say, Rachel told us what you did, Ross, and we don't want to play your song anymore.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Seriously? What did she tell him?
And then she's like, we're going to give the time to a couple who stands a chance. She's sorry she hit you with her car, and she hopes you'll forgive her.
And then they play some shitty cover of In My Room, which is a great song by the Beatles, or by the Beach Boys.
Yeah. So,
In My Room.
That's how it ends. That's how it ends. So apparently, all this time, will they, won't they, Ross or Rachel, and they're going to break up before the event gets started.
He's looking out the window at the rain, because it's raining out. It's because, of course, it's rain. God knows that Ross and Rachel are having a rough time, so he called for rain. They're looking outside, and it goes... He
also climbed up the fire escape and tried to read her prose list. Before that, right. Which he had some pretty good prose on there if she would have listened, like how great you are with Ben and all this stuff, like important things.
Yeah,
matter.
But she doesn't care.
Nope, he made one mistake and she's done with him.
Yeah, so there we go. She's also not the best character in the world either.
Right. Oh well. We'll see.
See what happens.
Maybe they'll get back together. What do you think?
I think they're going to stretch it out longer. This is the problem when you introduce a will they won't they like love story element at the beginning of your show. The problem is you can only go one of three ways, I guess. Either they never get together, and then it's always just like a flirtation. Maybe it ebbs and flows. And it's all this build-up with no payoff, which the audience is not going to like. Mm-hmm. Or they get together quickly, and then, that, like, it's kind of diffused. You have to, like, your show's got to have a more narrative drive than just that.
Got to come up with other tension.
Or it's like you get them close together like this and be like, okay, now we got to figure out some way for them to get torn apart so they're not really together, and then you just keep doing that. I assume that they're going to keep stringing us along like this for a while. That's my guess.
I hope not. That sounds unpleasant.
Well, sounds like Rachel, huh? But we are going to welcome some special guests in here to talk about a film that we saw.
We saw one of the coolest things that I've ever seen with my eyeballs.
Yeah, it's a Toy Story day for us.
And we took my niece and nephew, so they're going to help us tell you about it.
All right, well, let's welcome in niece and nephew.
Isabella and Stefan.
So we saw a film this week, and we have a couple of special guests in studio here.
Hi. Very special guests.
Hi.
We've got Isabella and Stefan, Carol's niece and nephew, respectively.
Welcome to the show, guys. So what did you think of Toy Story?
Very good movie. The best.
Yeah.
It was so cool. Like,
I have never seen anything like it in my entire life.
For sure.
It's, I was... obviously we're not kids. That's why we have a kid's perspective.
We're not?
That's why we have kids' perspectives here. But, I was, like, in awe of this technological advancement. I think every cartoon ever made is going to be like this now. If this is what they're doing with computers, I can't... This is going to change animation.
That would be amazing. Like, if you were just watching, like, Saturday morning cartoons and they looked like this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
It looked like 3D. It's like claymation almost, but smoother.
Yeah, it looks incredibly real. It's I can't say enough about it. It's one of those experiences that you have at a movie theater that's transformative.
Yes.
Like, this is like watching, I don't know, Star Wars for the first time or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, or Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah.
I have lots and lots of questions.
Oh, what are your questions?
We got questions.
First of all, where did he get the fireworks? Where did Sid get the fireworks?
That is an interesting question.
He had some neglecting parents, I think.
Yeah.
Well, there's a scene where his dad is, I think it's supposed to be his dad, is like watching TV, and there's a bunch of, I think it's soda cans or root beer or something like that. But
I think they're supposed to be beer cans.
Well, they're definitely supposed to be alcohol, but they're not labeled as such.
Right.
Oh, so they're drunk.
That's your explanation right there. His parents are drunks, or at least his dad. We never even do we see his mom? Yeah, we do.
I don't know.
No,
I don't think
his
so.
sister called out for her though. The sister goes, "Mom."
Yeah.
So there is a mom somewhere.
But let's set it. Yeah, there are no dads in this story in this movie at all, which is weird. But let's set it up. So,
You barely see the parents.
yeah, that's true. I think we see the mom's feet. That's about all we see. Yeah, we never see her face, do we?
At the end of the movie, we see them sitting around the Christmas tree at their new house.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, so let's set it up for the people a little bit. So this movie is a story about toys. That's
Toy Story. Hey.
Apparently, toys come to life when people aren't around, and they go inanimate when people are around. I guess so that they know that people shouldn't know that they're alive.
Right.
I don't know who tells them that, how they know that, or anything. And we get a toy that thinks he's not a toy.
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear.
He's like a delusional toy who thinks he's a real person.
Yeah, so why does he pretend that he's not alive around the adults, around the kids and stuff?
Good question. Maybe it's some kind of magic and like, but it's not.
No, they make a choice.
Yeah.
As we see later in the movie,
Right.
they make a choice to not do it. But they have this whole life that we don't know about behind the scenes. And at the beginning of the movie is Andy, who's the kid, Andy's birthday party. And apparently the toys are all worried that they're gonna get stuff that replaces them, but they don't need to worry because Andy has the worst friends in the world.
Right?
Oh, what did this friend get you? A new set of sheets. What the hell?
Right? I'm surprised they weren't bringing like toothpaste and underwear.
What was the first gift? I don't even remember.
Like, was it like pants?
A globe.
Oh, I know he got a board game at one point.
He got Battleship. He got sheets, and there was something else lame at the beginning.
It was clothing. I remember it was some kind of clothing.
Okay, a new jacket.
Yeah, it was not cool toys.
No.
But
The
only
only cool toy that he got was the Buzz Lightyear, which
Yep.
who gave it to him?
His mom. I'm sure his mom gave it to him. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like secret in the closet.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, oh wait, there's one more.
Yeah. There's one more. The only good gift you're gonna get.
Wahaha.
Yeah. I am better than all of your friends. I just got you a Buzz Lightyear. Look at all of these horrible gifts that they gave you.
What time period do you think this movie takes place in? Is this supposed to be modern times?
I don't know. I don't think so because it looks like older, like the decorations in the house, the wallpaper, like.
And it's like it's almost like the transition between the 50s and the 60s, right? Like he's really into this cowboy western stuff, and then the hot new toy is a space toy,
Yeah.
which is very 60s-esque.
That makes sense.
But then at the end of the movie, they're listening to Hakuna Matata from
Oh.
The Lion King.
Ooh, good point.
So it's like there are things that make it seem like it's older, but then also seem more modern. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it is pretty weird.
Well, and like Pizza Planet or whatever, like that seems more modern.
Yeah.
I mean, like it seems kind of like Chuck E. Cheese or
It's a Chuck E.
Major
Cheese
Magic's
like that,
or one of those places.
Right. Or what's that? The Showbiz
Yeah.
Pizza. Yeah, Showbiz Pizza.
But yeah, they didn't have that stuff back in the 60s or 50s.
No.
Pizza
They didn't even
Planet.
have arcades then, did they?
No, not in the 50s or the 60s.
So I think that right there testifies that this should be modern day.
Yeah, that was like arcades is like a mid 70s, early 80s kind of thing.
It's just maybe really old housing. That's why
I
they're
guess
moving.
so. But yeah, no dad, no explanation where this dad is.
I suspect he's dead.
Yeah, me too. I think he's dead.
Sad.
I think it's not sad.
Oh my goodness.
What?
New York dark.
Do I need to warn your parents?
What a monster.
Right?
Is your name Sid?
Right?
Your name is Sid.
No, I think I just he
Okay. Well said. So anyway, it's a pretty simplistic story.
Yeah.
It's a story about acceptance, I guess, and learning your place in the world, like growing up a little bit. You know, they're obviously those are themes at play.
Yeah.
Lost in the fact that this is like I said, a technological marvel, is that it's a pretty tightly written story too.
What do you mean?
It's a pretty well written story. You know, there's not a lot of waste in this story.
Yeah, for sure.
I have something to say.
Yeah, say it.
How was that claw still hanging on?
Oh yeah. So they go to Pizza Planet. So what happens is that Buzz Lightyear gets knocked out the window because Woody is jealous.
Yeah, he accidentally on purpose knocks him down. He just doesn't mean to knock him out of the window,
Right.
but he does.
And then they go to Pizza Planet, and he sees Buzz, and how exactly is that? Like Buzz hitches a ride with him?
Well, at Pizza Planet,
Before when they're in the car, they end up fighting, and they get knocked out of the car.
yeah, and then they hop into a delivery truck for Pizza Planet because they know
Yeah.
that's where Andy and his mom are
So
going.
Pizza Planet.
somebody needs to fire that driver. He is speeding and everywhere.
And I have another question.
Yeah. Well, I want to answer your question, but go ahead.
Why do they always think that Woody did this, Woody did this?
Yeah. Why are his friends immediately suspicious that he tried to murder this other toy?
I
Yeah.
can see why because he's been a pretty bad person to Buzz.
But at the same time, he's been like their friend and leader
Yeah.
for who knows how long.
They should trust him a little.
You would think a little bit more.
I mean, they know he's jealous for sure, but,
Don Rickles wants to throw him out the window right away.
yeah.
That's Mr. Potato Head. It's an all-star cast of voice actors. Tom Hanks is Woody, the sheriff, and then Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear.
That's Tim Allen?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize that.
And then, like I said,
Potato Head is the word.
Potato Head's Don Rickles, famous comedian. And then there's John Ratzenberger from Cheers is the pork chop, it's like the
Hammy.
pig. Yeah, Hammy, whatever, the pig. The piggy bank. And then the great Wallace Shawn is the dinosaur from The Princess Bride.
Yes.
Inconceivable. And then who else? Annie Potts is little Bo Peep. And then there's one more, I think. Oh, Jim Varney. Ernest P. Worrell is Slinky Dog. So yeah, I mean it's a great voice cast. But to answer Isabella's question about the claw thing, so they go to Pizza Planet. They end up going into one of those claw machines with the aliens.
Because Buzz.
Yeah, Buzz jumps in there.
Yeah.
And Sid sees them in this claw machine, and he ends up winning them. But as he's trying to grab onto Buzz Lightyear, Woody's trying to pull him down, and the claw like goes down into the there's no way that claw is still holding onto those toys.
Yeah, that's one of the more unrealistic things that occur in a movie with talking toys.
Right. But then, so Sid brings him back to his house, and he, he starts doing his experiments. Now, I have a problem with how the movie treats Sid, though.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, Sid is this guy, this kid, who has no idea that toys are alive.
Right.
So he does one thing that's kind of shitty. He takes his sister's toy and takes the head off the doll and puts a pterodactyl head on there and everything.
But who hasn't done shit like that?
But the thing is, yeah, and the thing is, like, the bad thing about it is not that he's abusing a toy, because he has no idea. It's more that he's taking his sister's things and, like, defacing them, which he shouldn't be doing. But other than that, most of the stuff seems like stuff he found, and he's just being, like, really creative and with these different toys and everything. But from the toys' perspective, yeah, he's a monster, but he doesn't know they're alive. And then they reveal themselves to him in the most terrifying, like, psychologically breaking way.
Right.
This kid is going to be in an asylum for the rest of his life. And it seems like, I don't like the treatment of this kid.
Yeah, I mean, they act like he's a kid that's, like, torturing animals and showing no remorse, but it's inanimate objects.
Yeah, he's not a sociopath. He doesn't know they're alive.
Right. Yeah, and then, like, Woody literally twists his head around like it's the freaking, Exorcist movie and says, play nice. Right. Like, what in the hell? I don't know how that child will ever, like, play with a toy again. And on the way to the house, he's like, nice, Dolly. So, like, he's gonna be nice to toys now if he ever touches them again.
Yeah, he's not going to touch anything again. He's going to be hanging from his closet.
Oh my god!
I don't even know how this is a kids movie. If they just put that in, like.
Well, they didn't. They didn't. Put that
they
in,
didn't, and they wouldn't. It's okay. It's all fluffy and happy.
Bella, what was your favorite part of the movie?
When they were going into, like, the car with the fireworks, that was, like, very, very, like, that's very, like, action.
Yeah, the exciting climax. What about you, Stefan?
And my favorite part of this movie was the one that we were talking about with Sid.
Very good.
Can I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nice.
My favorite part and this is partially throughout the movie, it's just Buzz's lines. He has the greatest lines, but it's when he has the tea party in
Mrs.
Sid's
Nesbitt.
room. Yeah. And it's like the tea has made him drunk or something, but he's just like delirious, and he's like, I'm Mrs. Nesbitt.
I like when Woody asks him to give him a hand and he throws his severed arm up.
He's just so depressed, but he's hilarious. You are a sad, strange little man. I love Buzz.
Yeah, he's very funny. To infinity and beyond and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's not his greatest line.
Definitely.
See the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbitt.
Would you play with a space toy like that?
Yes.
Do you wish your Barbies were real?
And alive with their own secret lives.
Or would that scare you?
When you're asleep, they move all around. Can you imagine that?
Oh my god.
If I saw 1 foot move of a Barbie doll by itself, I would literally scream.
Bella would say, kill it, it's not of God. We'd burn down her room. Yeah. Overall, I would say very, very good movie.
What was your favorite part? You don't get to skip.
Oh, I have to have a favorite part,
You
too.
have to have a favorite part.
And you do too.
I just said mine.
I guess my favorite part was when they deployed the army to go spy on his birthday party.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And the one army guy gets stepped on.
Oh yeah.
Because, I remember that as a kid, having army guys that got broken and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're so small. How are you going to see them?
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah, Arlie Army, by the way, the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket's also the soldier in this, Sarge. We've got it. Yeah, but, I mean, like I said, there's a lot going right for this movie.
I can't think of a thing that went wrong with this movie.
Obviously, so it's a new company called Pixar. Mm-hmm. It's their first feature film here.
I wonder if all the rest of the movies they make will look like this.
I don't know. I think this is what they do because supposedly this came out of George Lucas's Industrial Lights and Magic.
Okay.
It started there, and then I guess George Lucas sold it to Apple. And they were heavily invested in computer stuff and everything, and it kind of developed more as part of Apple, and then I think Steve Jobs sold it or whatever. It became its own thing, basically. And now it's an independently owned studio. But it's like, it's Disney distributes this movie, so I can't say like it's going to destroy Disney's model or whatever, like it's going to take over Disney. Because they have some sort of partnership with Disney. Disney has a giant distribution machine to get movies out to movie theaters and stuff like that. And so they're partnered with Disney. They made the movie, they own the movie Pixar, but they partner with Disney to distribute this movie.
Because Disney has its fingers in everything.
Well, apparently now, yeah. But, fantastic movie. And I really enjoyed it.
I had so much fun seeing it with you kiddos, too.
All right, well, that's our movie talk. We're going to let our little guests go here, but we want to thank you for joining the show.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that is the episode for the week. We'd like to thank niece and nephew Bella and Stefan for joining us. We'd like to thank you for every review that you've ever written and stuffed into our locker and every letter that you've ever sent to us and all the patronage that you've shown us, all of our listeners. We'd like to thank you. Why don't you tell one friend about it to show us your appreciation?
And, write us latefee1994 at AOL.com. Mm-hmm. Go to our website, retrolatefee.com.
We will see you next week.
Bye.